How the hell you doing, Brainiacs? Long Island Iced Tea here, ready to talk Lucha things, prograps with you. On another edition of Brainbuster Radio, it is a late Saturday night. I've been watching Lucha fighting all night long. I'm ready to talk about everything going on in the world of professional wrestling the last couple of days since we left you on our big return show, talking about a very fun Wednesday night Dynamite and some NXT. But now we're back. We got a bunch of stuff coming into this show, and we're going to be in order. Even though there's no Triple J, we still have Mil Calzones on the unos and doses. And Mil Calzones, I think really all we need is you, because we're going to start this thing off here in just a second talking about Lucha Libre Triple A stealing the show on a Saturday night.
Oh, Jess. All you need is me, man. That's cool, man.
It is good.
Ready.
We're ready, and we're ready to also finally hear from Vinman, who's here. He's making his return. Limited dates. Vinman's here. I'm sure he has a lot on his mind besides everything on our agenda. I'm trying to keep us in order, Brainiacs. I'm going to do my best, but you never know what direction Vinman's going to take. He is like a human Money in the Bank ladder match, unpredictable every single time.
Yeah, that's right, Long Island. I might just grab a hold of old number 7 and, watch some old TNA on Pluto TV.
Yeah, I mean, I advocate for Pluto TV's TNA channel for sure, but I don't know about, so answering the question from last episode, Vinman, you weren't here. You would take that ride with Mox like Triple J and I said we would. You'd hop in the back of his truck, drink some JD on the way to the big match.
Well, the issue I had was all the Metallica, which is fine, but you got to mix in some other music there. I got to hear some Priest. I got to hear some, maybe some Fozzy, although he probably doesn't want to play that.
I don't think he'll play that. Yeah, I don't think he'll be playing Fozzy. You might have a shot at some Priest, maybe some Guar, and you're going to get to that match in one piece. I trust Mox with my life, the AEW champion. Not a lot of AEW to talk on this show, unless, Vinman, before we get into it, you have anything that you wanted to get off your chest that you missed on the last episode.
You guys pretty much covered it. Some good stuff happening on that program.
What about the Manitoba Melee, though? I have been waiting to hear your thoughts on that. What do you think of a Manitoba? I've always been, bigger on. I like a Regina Rumble more than a Manitoba Melee. But as far as Canadian hootenannies, that was a good one.
Yeah, it was a real hootenanny. Just the creativity, the editing techniques. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope we get another one in about a month. Very exciting.
Manitoba Melee, still everyone's talking about it. They're recreating it on social media. At the Brainbusters, by the way, Brainiacs, tweet it, read it, tout it, shout it, be all about it. We've got plenty of news breaking to get to on this show, too. But Mil Calzones, I've been wanting to ask you, you're sitting there and you have all this knowledge about Lucha Libre and Mexico. What's like the Mexican equivalent to a Manitoba Melee?
Well, I mean, there was already one that I guess it's the closest thing I've seen so far with Cassandro Exotico. I don't know if you saw his, Alan.
Oh, was that the one? Yeah, we've referenced that on the last show, right? That was like it's the flim flam, but it's all exoticos from Mexico.
Yeah, that's probably the closest thing I've ever seen. But
like
I mean, if we're gonna do one, it'd probably be a lot of like pan dulce being thrown, maybe some horchata in the face, shit like that. That's the closest thing we're gonna find. But I mean, I'm just waiting. I don't know who's gonna be the first one to step up.
Is Super
Porky, a lot of shit.
Is Super Porky on Flim Flam or TikTok?
I don't think so, man. I think he's still on MySpace, still going strong on that.
Oh my God. I think he's probably luring underage girls on MySpace is my guess.
What about a Tijuana tussle?
Tijuana tussle's only like $10, or at least it used to be 15 years ago. I don't know how much those go
all I
for.
know is that you better have all your pesos ready for that.
Well, Brainiacs, we're starting to talk off a little Lucha Libre because, well, that's what I was watching not an hour ago as of this live on tape edition of BBR. And I'm hoping we're watching too, because I saw a lot of people who are tweeting about wrestling usually were tweeting about Triple A And they don't normally talk about that promotion, but a lot of people were tonight because their show Lucha Fighter, I believe it was their 3rd or 4th episode earlier tonight live on YouTube. It was fantastic, Vinman. Did you catch any of it?
I did not, but before we run it down here, could you say the name of this show as if you were an announcer in New Japan?
a New Japan announcer proclaiming the beginning of AAA's Lucha Fighter. Is that what you're asking for?
Yeah.
Okay. They usually work with CMLL, but I'll do this for you, Vin, man. Here you go. AAA's Lucha Fighter. Through those technicals. There you go.
I thought it was going to be more like AAA Lucha Fighter.
That's Moose the Mark goes with that announcer. I do the higher pitched guy. Moose the Mark, yeah, he would be the AAA Lucha Fighter. Pagano versus Chessman. Here you go. Second match. Lady Maravilla para Lady Shani. AAA Lucha Fighter YouTube exclusive. Moose the Marks is better. That was a match, though. We did get Psycho Clown versus Tejano Jr. Mil Calzones. Tell Vinman how big that match is. We're talking about two of the best modern day heavyweight luchadors in that match. Tejano lost to Psycho Clown, who I think separated his shoulder legitimately in that one.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's nothing else you can do except continue. I was able to catch some of the Lucha Libre.
Did you see Psycho Clown?
I did.
Oh, what a great theme song.
Yeah, it was interesting to see that there wasn't that many people in the empty arena. I mean, I just wish there was just more vuvuzelas. Maybe if they can do like some kind of sound effect in the background.
Oh, man. Well, if you watch this thing, Vin, man, let me just... I mean, it would have been better if there was, a Japanese ring announcer for it, but the Spanish ring announcer is pretty damn good too. It's on an empty sound stage. It's got lights everywhere. Like they light it up like it's a live show, though. They pipe in fake crowd noise too for the bigger matches. They show the announcers sitting at home in front of their bookshelves, furiously putting on hand sanitizer as they call the matches. And then the best part, in between each match, they show the ring crew jumping up onto the apron wearing hazmat suits and masks, spraying the ropes and wiping everything down for the next match. And all the referees are wearing surgical masks and staying the hell away from the wrestlers as far as possible.
So what you're trying to tell me is that the referees are outside the ring counting 1, 2, 3?
Pretty much. Like there's like if the pin is happening in the middle of the ring, the referee would basically like be in the corner trying to eyeball if a shoulder was down. I don't know how you could tell if a shoulder's down from that far, but they were. It's
good to see wrestling companies taking this very seriously. This pandemic, I have no problem with protocols such as that.
This presentation, AEW, I think, takes the cake as far as pandemic wrestling presentations. They're doing it the best. This is my number 2 now. Getting to see them wipe down the ring makes you know that it's live. Seeing the referees so deathly afraid of all the sweat and spit that's flying all over the pen blood is great. And then the announcers, and then they also are bringing in they brought in Maximo the Exotico for an interview via Skype. I mean, they were reading people's tweets on the air. This was a fun ass show. And WWE, I feel like they just aren't taking advantage of they are, with the cinematic matches for sure. But in terms of making it feel live, this felt like a party watching this Psycho Clown.
Oh my God.
This was good.
SmackDown at times. Oh my goodness. Was it just there wasn't much movement or anything from the wrestlers, and all you could hear is just Michael Cole's voice, and it was like and it made it feel like nothing was happening.
And it's just so, and it's so blue. It's so blue the whole time. I feel like I'm in a casino watching SmackDown or something, or like at a rave. The colors don't really change on that set. Yeah, comparing those two shows, we're gonna get into SmackDown in a second, but I mean tonight we saw Psycho Clown separate his fucking shoulder. Lady Maravilla, I mean, what a heel. You're a heel in Mexico when everyone's wearing a mask. So basically it's wrestling that is suited for social distancing. But a real heel luchador or luchadora would wear a mask that has their nose and mouth exposed, wouldn't they, Mil Calzones? So Lady Maravilla's spitting and biting her opponent, Lady Shani, but she ended up tapping out. And then after the match, Lady Maravilla is putting the boots to Lady Shani, but what would happen? Big Mami would come out and save the day. My new favorite technica in Mexico. Vinman, right now, I want you to Google AAA Big Mami with an I and tell me what you think of her.
Is there a cool at the end of that name?
Big Mami Cool.
Big Mami Cool.
I think Big Mami would kick Diesel's ass, and Vinman's probably gonna concur with that once he sees a picture of her.
She looks like a formidable competitor, no doubt about that. At first looking at your notes here, Long Allen, I actually misread this for Big Miami, and I got really excited to hear who this person was. But still just as good. Did not disappoint.
I think Big Miami's going to be a faction one day in AEW. That's what I'm predicting. It's going to be a bunch of 305ers that are going to be called Big Miami, and they're going to be running roughshod. I think Big Miami is going to be the crew that finally takes down the Inner Circle. That's my prediction. It won't be the Elite. It'll be Big Miami. Or, I mean, if MVP's listening, Montel Vontavious Porter, I think he could make his new faction, him, Shane Thorne, and Brandon Vink as Big Miami. Vinman, what do you think of Brendan Vink? Isn't he what a great new addition to Raw? I'm so excited.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I got high hopes for this kid. He just looks downright dangerous.
He looks like he looks like a guy who would just pick the shit out of so many other kids in high school. What an arrogant looking asshole. We haven't even heard him talk yet. I can't wait to see
him in action, though. I'll say that.
I can't wait to hear him talk. And I haven't seen him without a shirt yet.
Oh, shucky, ducky, whack, whack.
That's with a shirt, Mil Calzones. He's never wearing a shirt, that Brandon Vink. Also on AAA, Lucha Fighter. We also had in between each match, Vinman, you'd go to the announcer sitting at home, and they'd be talking, reading tweets, and rubbing hand sanitizer furiously, and then they go back to the ring, and it'd be the announcer in the ring alone saying, "Para ustedes, para nosotros, together at home," and you hype it up. "This is Lucha Fighter for you on Saturday night," and then he'd get out of the ring, and then the entrances would happen, and he'd stay the hell away from anyone making an entrance, which I thought looked really cool and made every match feel big. Chessman. Big upset against Pagano, too. Kicked him right in the nutsack in a very sloppy, hardcore match. What do you you a fan of Chessman, Mil Calzones?
I don't think I've really gotten around to see Chessman. Is he black and white?
No, he's black and red, and there's no checkers or there's no like kings or bishops anywhere on him. I don't know why he's called Chessman.
Wait, he's black and red?
I actually think it's because he has a big chest, and because it's Spanish, he's chess man, because he's got a big chest. I don't know.
You tell me he walks around just pumping his chest up all day?
He does, and he wears a shirt. He dresses like a luchador hardcore wrestler, like Pagano.
It makes sense. You go up to someone and be like, "Look at my chest, man."
Exactly. Hey, she's got a big chest. You better watch out. I don't know if you can handle all that, dog.
Hey, you see that chest, man? That shit big, huh?
What do you like better, Vinman? Are you a nalgas man or a chess man?
I'm not
are you a
quite
Mr.
familiar
Ass
with
Man?
those terms,
Dude,
but
are you a
I'm
Mr.
a
Ass Man? Are
chess
you a chess
man.
man? Bum, bum. I love to rub them. I love to lick them.
The highlight of this show was Pentagon Jr., for me at least, versus Hijo de Vikingo, this youngster, what a future. Did a 450 splash springboard from the middle rope, jumping from the outside of the apron. I mean, this was incredible. He ended up losing to Pentagon Jr. via package pile driver. But what a great showing. I was really impressed. I look forward to seeing him in a future interim cruiserweight NXT tournament down the line. Let's get to SmackDown on Fox here in a hot second. But before we do want to get a word from our sponsors in. This week it is brought to you by the Corona Beer Company, who is going to be doing some things with Marburger beers. Apparently, Vinman, we got our copy here, and apparently a big fundraiser between the two beer companies. We rarely see that. It's based. This is like the AWA and Mid-Atlantic coming together for like a super clash. Marburger beer, Corona beer, with a big rock and roll festival in the fall, and that's going to be really special.
Yeah, these are unprecedented times.
They are, for sure. So we'll be right back to talk SmackDown after a word from the Corona Beer Company and Andre the Giant. And now, Andre the Giant calls the CEO of the Corona Beer Company. Thank you for calling Corona. How may I help you?
Corona, I know I can reach you. This is Andre the Giant, the number one wonder in the world.
Hello, Andre the Giant. Thanks for calling us. Why are you calling our headquarters here at the Corona Beer Company?
Andre just want to tell you he supports you. I know a lot of people don't like you right now because you are getting people sick, but you got Hulk Hogan sick, so you are number one in Andre's book. Andre very happy. Andre want to order a lot of beer.
Oh, Andre, it's a common misconception. We're actually not part of the pandemic is not caused by our product, but we appreciate your kind words. I don't believe Hulk Hogan got the coronavirus either, but you said you wanted to place an order, or?
You don't have to play kayfabe with me, Andre the Giant. I know you're the one that does the corona, and then you beat Hulk Hogan in 2 seconds. Andre the Giant, respect that. Andre the Giant wants 500 barrels of Corona for Quinceañera.
So you will be placing an order with this. Okay, hold on. Let me get my pen, Andre. You said this was for a Quinceañera. What was that?
This is for a Quinceañera. It's for my niece. It's for Mil Calzones' niece. You invite Andre. Andre brings 500 Coronas for Quinceañera. Andre the Giant won 500. You beat Hulk Hogan in 2 seconds. Andre, respect that. You give me 500.
Okay, so 500 barrels for a quinceañera. I hope that this quinceañera is going to be practicing social distancing, Andre. How's social distancing going for you during these unprecedented times?
Andre the Giant is practicing perfect, 6 feet away from my beer. You stay 6 feet away from my food. You stay 6 feet away from Andre the Giant. It's doing good. You deliver them now.
Okay, we got that down for 500 barrels to you, Andre. Can I get your address?
You can send it to Bobby Heenan's house. His address is Bobby Heenan House, and you send it now. Oh, don't forget the lines.
Welcome back to Brainbuster Radio. Brainiacs, Long Island Iced Tea here. Mil Calzones on the unos and doses in Vinman. And we are ready to talk SmackDown on Fox from this past Friday night. It was another big night for the Blue Brand, a couple of Money in the Bank qualifiers. But no, let's start this off. No Mr. Robot promos, Mil Calzones. I know you've been loving those. There was no computer nerds hacking the show this week, saying the truth will come out.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I'm trying to see everybody's business. We're all locked down in quarantine, and the soap operas are boring, and I'm waiting for this unknown hacker to just just start shelling out information. I want to know everyone's dirt sheet, you could say.
You know, unless it's Dave Meltzer, I don't want it. I want this whole angle to go away. I want to be mad if they just completely scrapped it, Vinman, and we never saw the hacker again. I want it to be Uncle Dave and no one else.
That would be good. Something tells me it's not Dave Meltzer. But I am interested in seeing who this is. They've been hyping it up for quite some time. And I guess we're getting close to it. I don't know. It's hard to say.
I don't think we're getting closer. There's no sign of him at all today. Not even like I don't even think they had any like those little interruptions, those little while someone's talking or nothing. But how good would it be? You know, I mean, Moose the Mark's not here to exactly paint that picture, but I mean, if they're saying that the truth is out now, and then it was all of a sudden the shadow went away and it was Dave Meltzer, and he said, this angle's been going on a long time. You know, people have been waiting. I've been writing a lot about WWE, and, you know, the whole time. And it's actually, you know, I was working for Vince the whole time.
Long Island. I know a way you can figure out I know a way that you can figure it out if it's Dave Meltzer. If the information is correct, then it's not him.
Oh. Well, so far,
and, you know, then you could stop watching and you could stop caring about it.
So far, Mr. Robot has hit the nail on the head with the Otis and Mandy stuff. That was all true. Blew that thing up, and it came to blows this past Friday again. But I don't see that either fork in that road ending soon, Vinman. Otis beats Dolph. He qualifies for Money in the Bank. How surprised and disappointed are you? Oh, yeah! There's still one spot left, but that was wild to see, and he won with a worm elbow drop.
Yeah, that caterpillar, pretty lethal maneuver right now. A well protected move, as Mr. Mark would say. Otis I'm a huge Dolph fan, obviously, but Otis just seems to have Dolph's number. You know, he beat him at WrestleMania, the biggest show in the whole world, and he just beat him again on SmackDown Live.
I mean, where's Dolph Ziggler go from here? He just lost to Otis.
I don't know. I do not know.
I'm Dolph Ziggler.
I mean, Mil Calzones hates his guts. So Mil Calzones, is this an "I told you so" moment for you? What happens with Dolph Ziggler next?
I've been saying it the whole time. Just because Dog Ziggler can jump off the ring and fly off to the fifth row doesn't mean you're going to win matches. I mean, he was outmaneuvered by a guy named Otis. That's a dog from a movie.
Well,
you're losing to him.
Or a legendary R&B singer, or a legendary bench player in the NBA. Oh, well, Otis is in the Money in the Bank. I would say he's probably gonna have the worst odds to win it, right, Vinman?
Yeah, they even talked about that on SmackDown.
He's got such short arms.
Corey Graves said that, wondering if this man could even climb a ladder. But this is a little bit different Money in the Bank match than we've ever seen before, so I'm not counting anybody out at this moment.
Are you going to be able to, we'll speculate more on this, but it's at an office building, so there are maintenance people, so maybe you could get someone to help you, service guy or something, or they've got all sorts of equipment. Otis has as good a chance as anybody, I think. One spot left. We'll get to that in a minute. Carmella super kicked Mandy's face off after she was distracted by Sonya Deville, who said she's going to, quote, ruin her life. And she did by costing her a shot at the Money in the Bank a year after giving her spot up to Mandy. I just want to know, what the hell did Sonya Deville ever get from Mandy Rose? She just last year gave away her spot for nothing in exchange out of the goodness of her heart. But I'm starting to think it was out of just I think she's kind of a maniac. I think she's kind of a unstable Brian Pillman-esque type character. She seems like she might be a stalker too. She is displaying very disturbing behavior that, I mean, you could really match up with some of the great serial killers in U.S. history, Vinman. This is not good.
I'm not quite sure if I go that far, but she does seem to have some sort of sadistic intentions here. To go after Mandy Rose.
She said she was going to fucking ruin her life. Ruin her life. Ruin it.
Well, you could already argue that she's accomplished her goal. I mean, Mandy Rose had a shot to be in the Money in the Bank corporate ladder match, and she's not going to be in it. Where do you go from here? Talking about where does Dolph Ziggler go? Where does Mandy Rose go from here?
Well, she goes back to Otis. She's got it still. A budding romance, and
well, I don't think she's just looking to be a valet.
She's
got the something more than that.
She's got the WBF. She's got a lot going for her. I mean,
blonde hair.
If you're rooting for, she's got blonde hair. If you're rooting for Sonya Deville to do this and ruin Mandy's life, I think Sonya's got work to do, right? Mil Calzones, what do you think she could do to ruin Mandy's life?
I mean, if you're already telling me that this lady's already going crazy, are you going to tell me now she's going to start dyeing her hair blonde, and then she's going to start looking like Mandy Rose, and it's going to be kind of like Rock the Cradle? Was it Rock the Cradle?
The hand that rocks the cradle.
Yeah, is that there? You go.
I would love to see
if
Mandy.
She starts doing some of that stuff. Then we have really big things to worry about.
I'm looking at some long booking here, Vinman. Mandy next up for her, she gets pregnant with Otis's child, and then in like a year, Sonya Deville kidnaps the child and tries to raise it as her own.
Good. I've been long campaigning for a good kidnapping angle for quite some time.
I think if anybody's going to give us a kidnapping, Sonya Deville's displaying some behavior that might fall into that category. Vinman, I think you might get your wish.
You got that right. You got that right. I'm 100% on it. I really am.
The Money in the Bank field for the women is set too. By the way, no spots left there. And it's really good. So with Carmella now officially joining that fray, she joins Dana Brooke, Asuka, Nia Jax, and Shayna Baszler and Lacey Evans in the women's portion of the Money in the Bank. You've got, I think, really, this is some of the best talent in a Money in the Bank, man or women, we've ever seen.
Yep.
Because I could see literally any one of them winning. I mean, this is going to be, especially with the circumstances at this corporate office, hardest Money in the Bank ladder match already for me to even think of and start picking. Carmella just qualified. I'm going to have to start doing some homework, Vinman.
Yeah, and Carmella, she's got more success in this match than any other woman. And one thing I will say, I'm not sure if you caught this, Long Allen, but Carmella singing her theme song after she wins a match is maybe the best thing going right now.
Capiche. You're right. I'm a big fan of that. I'm also a big fan of the role Dana Brooke's on. I just love how much she believes in herself. She really believes in herself. She's got me practicing my handless cartwheels, failing miserably. You've got Lacey Evans in this one. I mean, I don't want to break it all down yet. We got time to do that, but goddamn, what a nice field that is for the women's Money in the Bank. Let's move on now to SmackDown, though. So Sheamus is just fucking murdering jobbers right now. I mean, not like not Brendan Vink jobbers, not that quality, but I mean, if you watch AEW, Vinman, they don't handle their jobbers the way Sheamus is handling jobbers right now. I mean, that's safe to say.
Yeah, I'll say this. Sheamus looks to be in the best shape of his life right now. You could tell he's slimmed down a little bit. The guy is just absolutely shredded, and he is just mowing down anybody who gets in his path, and he's ready to just beat the hell out of Jeff Hardy, it appears like.
He wants to beat the fuck out of Jeff Hardy, but I just want to know, okay, what does he want from Michael Cole? I mean, Michael Cole, I'm critical.
Terrified.
I'm critical of Michael Cole as much as the next guy, but I mean, what does Sheamus want from him? He's calling his matches, he's calling the moves, and then he's throwing it to Jeff Hardy video packages with Vince McMahon yelling in his ear. Sheamus knows all this. Why is he getting so mad at? What does he want Michael Cole to do? Mil Calzones pull his pants down and start wanking it in the middle of his match? Why is he so mad at Michael Cole?
I don't know, man. Maybe he's just not giving enough credit to Sheamus. I mean, maybe Sheamus just wants a whole bunch of compliments. Like, hey, man. You slimmed down. You're looking good. I mean, we get it. Jeff Hardy's come back from rehabilitation and, drug substance abuse. And I don't know, maybe be like, yo, Sheamus ain't never had no drug abuse. Maybe he wants praise. I don't know, man. He's fucking Irish. I don't fucking know.
What if Sheamus?
Crazy fuck eating potatoes, fucking walking around like Conor McGregor drinking whiskey? Fuck. man. I don't know what's in his mind. He's a madman.
Cole,
He was a fucking villain in Ninja Turtles.
I've got a crazy alcohol problem. You don't talk about me none, Cole. Why don't you talk about my hardships? Yeah, I don't know why he's so mad.
I love Ninja Turtles. Like, just throw that shit out there. Just give him love. I think that's all he needs.
Sheamus really wants a hug or some love, or I think just a piece of Jeff Hardy's ass. Speaking of the Hardys, Vinman, we waited for you to get back to the show to play this. This has very little to do with SmackDown, but I received a personal message from Jeff Hardy's brother, current AEW star, Broken Matt Hardy, and it really was one of the most special things I've ever received.
Yes, I am Broken Matt Hardy, and this phenomenal media transmission is dedicated to one of my favorite individuals on the face of the planet Earth. Yes, one of my favorite men in the multiverse, yes, and that is you, Alan Michael, yes. Alan, it's so nice to be interacting with you through this screen. I am at home at my humble abode, the Hardy Compound, broadcasting live via Vanguard 1, yes. And Alan, I must tell you, I have heard so many absolutely wonderful things about you from Sean and Courtney, my friend, yes. Now, Alan Michael, I understand that you are the brother-in-law, and you currently are just graduating college from the University of Pittsburgh, yes. And you are an enormous wrestling fan, and obviously a very intelligent one. I'm sure you are a subscriber to my Broken Brilliance, yes. And someone with such an astute mind like yours shall never, ever fade away in class of I am so is obsolete, yes. Now I understand you are a huge wrestling fan, and because of that you host a podcast, and that is dedicated to wrestling, and it is called Brainbuster Radio. That is stupendous, my friend. What I would like to do, Alan Michael, is wish you luck as you enter the next chapter of your career. I have had a very potent and prolific premonition. The next chapter of your career shall be wonderful, yes. My friend, be well, and I hope to see you vessel to vessel in the future. Alan Michael, may 2020 be your best year ever.
Enjoy the show! Woo!
Oh, man. Matt Hardy sending old Long Allen a cameo, Vinman. It was great, but I have a question. Should my future brother and sister-in-law have gotten Jeff Hardy to just dance in front of the camera for 2 minutes instead?
Yeah, that certainly would have been good. There were certain monetary restrictions, what came to this cameo, unfortunately, and I did not look up the prices, but Jeff Hardy dancing for 2 whole minutes. My God, that's got to be expensive.
Either way, thank you to Matt Hardy for the shout out to Brainbuster Radio, a stupendous podcast. Now we've been labeled by the broken brilliance of Matt Hardy. His current his vessel's currently housing, what's its name? Damascus, Vinman is the entity. So Damascus approved Brainbuster Radio. Now we can start putting that on the promotional materials. Mil Calzones, get on that. But the Hardys rule wrestling. It's 2020, and it's the same old, Vinman. 2 biggest stars in the world currently.
Yeah, for the whole last 20 years.
Bray Wyatt on SmackDown is gunning for that Universal Championship, and he told a nice story on his Firefly Funhouse, I thought, this week, Vinman. I mean, this was the most Fred Rogers-esque he's gotten, sitting there just reading a book to everybody about a rude black sheep who abandoned a needy shepherd. I was If I had kids, I would have plopped them in front of the TV screen to hear that one. That was a great story.
And in fact, I think that's why a man called Wired is not here right now. He is reading this story over and over again to a baby called Wired.
Well, this was a good story. You know why? It taught you a lot of things. You should always say goodbye to your friends. It's rude to leave and without saying goodbye. That's an Irish goodbye. That's why people don't like Sheamus, maybe. And then Mil Calzones, this story was also, I thought, really good because it taught a lot of good lessons about, just sticking with your friends through thick and thin. Like even if they're taking all the glory, and if they are put together a big meeting for a big podcast episode and forget to tell you what time it's at, like, you still should forgive your friends even when that happens, right?
No, actually, not really. I mean, I don't know, the way it sounded like, it sounds Bray Wyatt's hurt, man. What are you supposed to do when your big dogs go on to bigger and better things? You support them. You don't write a story about being a black sheep.
Well, remember, Braun's a big sheep. He's no big dog. There's only one big dog. And right now he's holding that title the big dog should be holding, but that's another story. Do you think Braun Strowman should give an explanation next week, Vinman, for why he ditched the Wyatt family? He never really, John Cena never joined the Nexus, and Braun Strowman never said why he left the Wyatt family.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things that and questions that were never answered surrounding the Wyatt family, specifically their demise. There were 3 followers in that group, and they've all gone their separate ways, and we never really got good answers because of it. I can't wait to see the DVD on this.
When I left the Wyatt family, Alexa Bliss's father is a retired FBI agent, and he helped me with my conversion therapy when I was exiting that cult, the Wyatt family, and he helped me get back to being myself. And I want to thank Mr. Bliss, and Bray Wyatt's going to get these hands on Sunday.
Do you think they're gonna make a show like Waco about the Wyatt family?
Hell yeah! About those 51 days that they were holed up until Randy Orton burned that motherfucker to the ground. Eat your heart out, Bray Wyatt. Well, remember, this is Bray Wyatt facing Braun Strowman, not The Fiend. Something we will discuss thoroughly on the next BBR when Triple J's here. I cannot wait to hear him complain about why am I even excited for this match? The Fiend's not even in it. I'm sure he'll say that.
He'll probably bring up something about, does Bray Wyatt even have a wrestler's license? We know the Fiend has one. Does Bray Wyatt have one?
Yeah, and also the Fiend maybe isn't cleared with social distancing. Who knows his status? Who knows anyone's status at this point? A lot of wrestlers coming and going. They've been absent. It's unprecedented times right now, Brainiacs, but we still have Miz and Morrison, the greatest tag team of the 21st century. They did commentary during a big victory for the Forgotten Sons over the New Day. Jackson Riker interfered, of course. They did not win this match clean, but we learned a lot of things in this one, that the Forgotten Sons know how to take advantage of a situation. We learned that The Miz is not gluten-free. And we learned that Michael Cole is just the worst kind of jerk. Speaking of Waco, Michael Cole covered Waco. Did you know that? I'm pretty sure if you've seen the TV movie, the guy, the reporter who's outside the compound calling the local or the FBI or something, he's like relaying information. I think that was Michael Cole in real life. I don't know. I might be spreading rumors, but that was back when he was a good journalist. Now he's just an instigating gotcha journalist. I mean, he was really trying to get Miz and Morrison to fight each other in this Vinman. I did not really appreciate that at all.
Yeah. We've seen those kind of tactics before from broadcast journalists. It's not appreciated either. One thing I do want to say is Long Allen. Yeah, you said it wasn't a clean victory by the Forgotten Sons, but I don't think that should be diminished at all. I mean, any sort of victory over the New Day is extremely impressive in my book.
Well, yeah, you're talking about probably the greatest group in all of wrestling history, the New Day, for my money, and they got a win over them, non-title. So, you know, there are some asterisks here, and, you know, they haven't totally arrived, but the Forgotten Sons are I think on a mini roll right now, but they're going to need a lot more. They got a fatal 4-way tag match at Money in the Bank where they're going to get a title shot. I wouldn't want to win that match. Who would want to win your first title in a match like that? You want to beat a team head to head. You know, I know Vinman hates that kind of match. I mean, it'll be fun to watch, but New Day's going to pull it out. Cole, what a dickhead. I mean, Miz and Morrison finally reuniting. This guy's trying to get them to fight, talking about who writes their jokes, and one has a kid, the other doesn't.
Well, I'm sure he was trying to like rebuild his image after he looked like a little bitch in front of Sheamus.
He did, but I mean, this would be like me coming on this show right now and saying like, "Oh, Vinman, you know that Mil Calzones said that your wedding looked cheaper than his cousin's quinceañera." You know, he said that, and I just spread rumors like Michael Cole and got you two to fight on this show. That's not wouldn't be cool of me.
No, it would not.
It would not be cool. Mil Calzones, you never said that, right?
I mean, to be fair, the quinceañera cost about 500 million pesos. So I mean,
Vinman, how much did your
like
wedding
$10
cost in pesos?
Hey, Joe Marin and Steph fighting. Where is this at?
Speaking of fighting, SmackDown started with a great fight between Daniel Bryan and King Corbin. I was really into this match. It ended. What are you laughing at? It was a great match. It was a classic kind of match. Daniel Bryan, the technician, well-traveled, all heart. King Corbin, the anointed one, all given all the skills you would need just by simply being a huge man who's very athletic. And, you know, they went at it. But D-Bry pulled it off via DQ, and he got murdered afterwards by Shinsuke Nakamura, Cesaro, and Corbin. Now you got these guys have shifted from following radical left-wing Sami Zayn, and now they're following a fascist king in Corbin. So these guys obviously just have varying political ideologies. But they are goons for another guy now, and they're going to be teaming up with Corbin next week to take on D-Bry and Drew Gulak, Vinman, with a mystery third man. Who will the third man be?
Yeah, I consider myself the resident expert on third men on Brainbuster Radio, and you got to think that they're going to be looking for another grappler because that's what these guys like to do.
Len Denton, you think it's going to be the grappler, Len Denton?
It could be.
Made a lot of waves back in Portland in the day.
I'm going to go with Chad Gable as a grappler. That they're gonna be. Either him or Shelton Benjamin. It's going to be one of the two.
That's good. I'm going to go with Elias because he has that bone to pick with Corbin. I don't know his status. It's pure speculation, but he obviously has unfinished business with Corbin still, right, Mil Calzones? So, I mean, who's your prediction for the third man?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. I mean, it looks like it's all small guys, so it's probably going to be like Ali or something like that.
Oh, well, we've got a lot for you to gravitate towards there and choose from there. Brainiacs, let us know who you think the third man will be next week on SmackDown. At the Brainbusters, tweet it, read it, tout it, shout it, be all about it. The women, what are you laughing at?
I'd like to talk to Moose DeMark about Cesaro and Nakamura's political agendas.
Yes. Well, I mean, you're talking. You once upon a time said that Cesaro was a part of, what did you call it? The
Independent Alliance.
The Independent Alliance, and they lean one way. I mean, yeah, these two guys, I think they're basically like political mercenaries. Whoever has the money, they're going to help you get elected. They're going to help you with your agenda. I mean, they are becoming some of the seediest individuals in WWE. Tamina was attacked on SmackDown as well, just like Daniel Bryan, but she didn't end up just laying out on a pile of chairs. She was helped by Lacey Evans as Bayley and Sasha Banks. Just, what mean girls. After Sasha was pretending to be really nice to Tamina too, Vinman, and then Bayley hits her from behind, not I don't any great champion you think of. Bruno Sammartino never attacked someone backstage from behind. That great champions that we want to look up to, role models. Bayley calls herself a role model. Lacey Evans saved the day. You do that. That's what a role model does, I think. So this feud really, when I'm watching Bayley especially, it just makes me think of A Man Called Wired and That Baby Called Wired. A Man Called Wired has a lot of Bayley paraphernalia. He shows his child a lot of Bayley matches. And I don't want to tell anyone how to raise their kid, but who do you think A Man Called Wired should be having a baby called Wired look up to? Because I don't think it's Bayley. We might have to say something to him.
Well, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but he wants his child to get right to the top, by any means necessary, and that's what Bayley's done here, and she's the champ for a reason, and she's aligned herself with that sneaky Sasha Banks, who I will say looks like she is in the best shape of her life right now. And this was just looks like it was the beginning of a Pier 6 brawl backstage.
It was, but really unbecoming of a champion. What about you, Mil Calzones? I mean, we with such great females out there as role models, from Charlotte Flair to Lady Shani and Big Mommy.
Baby girl.
Who do you think A Man Called Wired should have a baby called Wired looking up to?
If there's one woman you need to be looking up to, is to Asuka. She wears paint in her face. She dances all the time. She's like a fucking clown, so it's like perfect.
If a baby called Wired is going to be emulating Asuka, I'm never going to invite A Man Called Wired and his baby over for a play date. I don't want to hear his baby just screaming in Japanese at everybody. And we're not going to know what the hell's going on.
Long Island, they're going to be like, oh, Baby Wired, do you want a bottle? Okay.
Nia Jackson.
Baby Wired, do you want some carrots or do you want some celery? All of them. Like, you have catchphrases. You got all this wonderful, great things.
Asuka is a gem. Yeah. And she's been the hero of the pandemic, I would say. Last thing here from SmackDown, we do have men's and women's Money in the Banks coming up, and it was announced, Vinman, that the matches will occur just like a Rozelle beatbox at the same time. And that was my best Mauro Ranallo type reference. 2 matches happening at the same time at a corporate headquarters. I have no idea what to make of this.
Yeah, this is some good shit right here. It's going to have people talking. This is my kind of match. Just, tons of elevation and structure. That's what it's all about, And I just cannot wait to see this go down. This is no doubt in my mind. This was something Eric Bischoff wrote down for them to do during his time with the company. All hell was going to break loose at the corporate headquarters. I cannot wait to see this. I'm hoping that there's multiple, camera angles shown at the same time to keep up with all this action. It's going to be wild for sure. And I cannot wait. I don't think I've been this hyped for a match in quite a long time. Not necessarily because of who is in it.
I think since Cobo Hall, Vinman. I think you're thinking since Cobo Hall is this match.
Yeah, exactly.
The only thing, if this was a WCW match, I feel like it would have been wise of WWE to cross-promote here. WCW certainly would have. They should be calling this a die-hard match. Shouldn't they, Mil Calzones? This is happening at a top.
Explain to me what this is exactly.
So for Mil Calzones and anybody who still doesn't grasp what's going down at Money in the Bank, WWE headquarters in Stamford, a big corporate building, will be where this match happens. The ring and the briefcases will be on the roof of this corporate building, and all the competitors, men and women, will start at the bottom of the building to start the match, and they will have to make their way to the top of the building, into the ring, and to the top, through over the ladders and to the briefcases to win. And this is at least all the promotional material. I just feel like I'm watching like a John McClane promo here. So why not call it a die-hard match?
So this is for Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank.
And it's women and men all fighting for one briefcase.
I believe there's two. They have not specified, but it sounds like there's two briefcases.
Looking at the picture, it looked like it was two.
So they're all going to be fighting at once in this Nakatomi building.
Yes.
And then they're going to have to go through each floor, and there's a ring on the roof.
Yes.
And they have to go outside to the ring.
They got to get to the.
They're going to be.
You got to get to the roof, and then you got to get into the ring and climb the ladder and get the briefcase.
And you start so like say I'm like chilling at my desk, getting my work done, and then all of a sudden, whoever's in the Money, the Carmella throws Lacey Evans into my. You're going to be able to throw them in like offices and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And Daniel Bryan said we might even get to see the dinosaur bones Vince McMahon has in his office.
Oh, man, and I'm ready to watch this, man. When is this next week, right?
A week from Sunday, Brainiacs, which is a week from, we've made it into Sunday now, so a week from today as of this live on tape recording on Brainbuster Radio.
And they all start together in the same place.
They all start together at the bottom of the building. My biggest question is not who's going to win. It's who's going to die and get thrown from the building like Hans Gruber. That is my question.
So I just want to know if I don't know, like Daniel Bryan can kick Lacey Evans.
I guess technically, right, Vinman? You can't have men competing with women in this one. I mean, if someone gets in your way.
I mean, it's certainly not encouraged, I would say.
I mean, if I'm Otis, I mean, I think it would be what a formidable team if you and Nia Jax work together to both get to the top. I mean, no one would stop them.
Yeah, I mean, if you just walk side by side up the staircase, I don't see how anybody gets by it.
What happens if there's only one ring, correct, or two rings on top?
Yeah! There's one, man. There's one.
So that means like say Lacey Evans is climbing up the ladder and that's the only working ladder, and I'm Otis, I'm gonna have to knock her out because I want to get my briefcase, right? That's all allowed.
I just can't wait for the pre-show for Money in the Bank, and Booker T's going to be like, what if in this match you got Lacey Evans and she going to be going up that ladder, but you know she going to have Otis in her way, man. She going to have to knock that big Otis down from the ladder. This is unbelievable how this all
That's what I'm saying.
Ducky.
It sounds like the greatest shit ever.
It's on like neck bones. Nia Jax going to be going at it with my boy D. Bry. Finally, I've been waiting for that match.
This sounds like the best shit I've seen since Undertaker.
Oh, shucky, ducky, quack, quack.
It's definitely
who's gonna go through the window like the commercial. That's all I want to know.
Oh man, like this Money in the Bank, and there's one spot left. Apollo Crews tweaked his knee, unable to compete. That last spot for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, Vinman, will be determined on Raw. Who you got winning the last spot?
Is it even announced who the two competitors are?
No, they did not say who's going to get a shot at it. So that's something really to be excited for Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, well, it's hard to even say during these unprecedented times.
I mean, we don't even know who's going to show up to Raw. I mean, only thing I know for Raw is we have a tag team match between Street Profits and the Viking Karaoke guys. That's the only match for Raw we know of. But I'm hoping Jinder Mahal gets in this Money in the Bank ladder match. Let me just say that, Vinman. I am all about a second Jinder Mahal WWE title reign. And it could start on Raw.
We'll see it before not too long. I promise you that.
Raj Kukaraj. That's what I'm rooting for. What a return on Raw. All right. That was SmackDown. Brainiacs, and it was a fun show. It was a show. It was exciting. It's got me hyped for this Money in the Bank. More clarity into it. Let us know what you think. Can Sonya Deville commit murder or at least kidnapping? And what about Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman? Does Braun owe an explanation for leaving the Wyatt family? At the Brainbusters, tweet it, read it, tout it, shout it, be all about it. We are going to close things up here shortly. We have some headlines to get into first, though, and we've got a continuation from a very special investigative piece we aired last week, some found footage we had sent to us from a source that we are not going to name just yet because they've asked to remain anonymous, but we have the second part of the piece they sent us from a very, very important WWE headquarters meeting. Last week you heard the McMahons selling to the Disney Corporation, Bob Iger, head of Disney, and we left you with a little bit of a cliffhanger. Here is the rest of that. Bob Iger taking over the WWE. What could this mean?
Do you smell it? There's a life force in here tonight. Do you feel it? I look around this room and I see potential. I see the future winner of the Royal Rumble.
He's from England.
I see a famous Mr. Money in the Bank. I see the future Raw Women's Champion. Being educated by private tutors my whole life, I'm looking forward to acting with professional wrestlers for the very first time. I'm sure I'll teach you, and I'm sure you'll teach me a little something also. Now, those of you from Ithaca, New York, probably know my father, Arthur Iger, the lighting fixture king. All the lights you see around the Performance Center have been donated by him. But I'm going to do old dad one better. I'm not going to just give you the light. I'm going to show you the light. And to help me do it, let's meet the new staff of WWE, Team Iger.
All right, stand proud, boys.
Hey, who wants to be on TV? There's Kevin Dunn, the cameraman. Hey there, Kevin. If all goes well, we'll continue to make WWE the #1 sports entertainment company in the entire world.
You're kidding.
Listen, workers, at age 39, I watched my hero, Hulk Hogan, lose to the Ultimate Warrior. I ended up with bad skin, low self-esteem, and no self-respect. But now I eat success for breakfast with my vitamins and prayers. Ratings are gonna fly, and AEW is out of here, mister, and we're gonna do it together.
Oh my God.
Today on Headlines, potential WWE sale rumors continue. Becky Lynch is becoming a bigger and bigger star by the day. And we have a word from Impact Wrestling. This week, Brainbuster Radio headlines are brought to you by Marburger Corporate Window Cleaners. Marburger Corporate Window Cleaners, the official corporate window cleaners of Money in the Bank. And I cannot wait to see that. You're going to have Marburger window cleaners, Vinman, cleaning the outside of WWE headquarters during the match. I mean, you're talking scaffolds on the sides of big buildings. Always makes for great action sequences.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, scaffolding. You'd think that kind of work would be taken care of prior to the match starting, but hard to say during these unprecedented times.
Yes, it is. And, you know, this next... Yeah, there we go. I like that, Mil Calzones. This next part of headlines, Becky Lynch landing a role on Showtime's Billions. Do you watch that show, Mil Calzones?
Yeah, actually I do. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, not for me, but Becky Lynch on a big-time show that I know a lot of people watch. And now rumors is she's saying she's being tutored by Cena and The Rock with her acting skills. Rumors that she might be a Marvel superhero pretty soon. I mean, what do you think of all this, Vinman? Becky Lynch, the next step she's taken towards superstardom?
Well, we've always said, or not we, but, some, wrestling minds have always talked about how she has great facial features and good cheekbones. And that's critical to becoming a big-time movie star. And it wouldn't surprise me if she went this route specifically to get out of the business before Ronda Rousey comes back.
Oh, see, that's what I was hoping you'd say, Vinman. I think a lot of people are thinking that. And you're right about the cheekbones thing. I mean, very rarely does a leading Hollywood actor or actress not have great cheekbones. Becky Lynch very much falls in line. I mean, can you think of any actor or actress that doesn't have great cheekbones? The only one, maybe Danny Trejo, Mil Calzones, but he's Machete. So, I mean, Becky Lynch definitely as a Marvel superhero makes sense.
I just saw him on a food show talking about his taco stand. Anybody know about this?
Yeah, Danny Trejo's tacos.
Yeah, Trejo tacos.
Couldn't believe it.
Yeah, we'll have to head out there for when we go for WrestleMania 37 in LA, Vinman.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Next up, Michael Elgin double German suplexed Moose and Hernandez during their match at Impact's Rebellion 2020, Vinman. What do you think of that?
All I gotta say is you gotta be fucking strong to do something like that. My goodness.
God damn. And I mean, also, Hernandez still wrestling makes me smile every time I think that, I think he's gone. He comes back. I mean, talk about one of the greats that never got a WWE run.
Oh, my God. I've been thinking about this over the past week, just, from 2005 to 2010, just how good TNA was. It's unreal.
And if you want to, check out what Vinman's talking about, go to Pluto TV for free, a great app, and watch the Impact Wrestling channel. They show shit from that era all the time. You could see some gringo tosses and border tosses and gringo killers. Hernandez in his element. If Hernandez ever got to WWE, Mil Calzones, who would you want to see him border toss first?
Probably the whitest guy in the building, so probably Sheamus.
Oh, no. If he went to AEW, I think Jake Hager versus Hernandez would be pretty good, man.
That'd be pretty badass.
Oh, my God. What a match.
Oh, man. TNA does it again. Absolutely. So good to watch that show. It is a great wrestling show for real. All right. Last piece of business here we have in headlines. Real quick. A leaked script hit the internets this week from back in the day that someone wrote and proposed to Mr. McMahon for an angle where he would have murdered Hornswoggle after we found out Mr. McMahon was the real father of Hornswoggle. The next step in that angle would have been Mr. McMahon murdering Hornswoggle to get him out of his hair. Are you upset they didn't do that, Vinman? That would have saved us from Hornswoggle being the anonymous general manager or whatever it was.
That whole shit at the time when he then, I think this was happening whenever he got blown up in the limousine, and then they had to kill that whole angle. How disappointing was that? I mean, that was good shit.
It was. I mean, I want more deaths in WWE is what I'm getting at here. I mean, we gotta have another death soon. A storyline death. I'm talking about not real death, obviously.
Well,
do you think in 2020 that's a possibility at all, Mil Calzones?
Well, I mean, has anyone seen AJ? Is he still dead?
Ooh.
I mean, that could be considered a death, right? I haven't seen him. I haven't heard from him.
Until he's pronounced, he's like JFK Jr. though. Like I want to see the body, or I want to see like the official coroner report or something here. I want verification AJ's dead. I'm not calling that a WWE death just yet. If it's not
buried,
aged,
I mean, if you call it a death, then charges are going to come into the Undertaker, and then Undertaker's going to be in jail. And it's like a whole big thing.
Oh, like Money Michelle won't keep the Undertaker out of jail. She knows everybody in the police department down there in Florida. If Carol Baskin can get away with killing her husband, the Undertaker could get away with killing AJ Styles. Vinman, what do you think the next WWE death will be?
It's probably going to happen at this Money in the Bank pay-per-view when somebody falls off the Titan tires.
Oh man! Oh, I gotta say, I'm kind of hoping it's. I don't know who I want it to be actually. I guess King Corbin. I guess I want it to be that fascist King Corbin. But we'll see. We'll have to debate that on the next Brainbuster Radio. You ready to wrap this up, Mil Calzones, and get a little bloody?
Yes, man. Let's do it.
All right, let's make like Chessman and Pagano and get some color. Brainbuster Radio, Falls Count Anywhere.
Let me tell you something, Brainiacs. Brainbuster Radio is back. Capiche? Oh, my brother, testify.
Money in the Bank is sounding pretty fucking badass. When all these competitors are going to be trying to climb up the ladder for that briefcase, it's going to be chaotic. Will people get thrown through windows? Probably. Will work not get done from the people inside that office building? Probably. Will this be a badass fucking match? Oh, hell yeah.
Brainiacs, during these unprecedented times, I've been trying to keep up on everything, and it's been a lot easier, as always, for Long Island Iced Tea. I'm trying to keep up on everything, but with some shows not actually going live or doing new shows, it leaves me wanting for more, so I'm going back in archives. I watched Clash of Champions 20 today. Fucking amazing opening. But I want to give a word of advice to you who maybe aren't as dedicated as I am to watching everything and keeping current on Ring of Honor, Impact, New Japan, All Japan, Big Japan, AAA, CMLL, AEW, WWE, all the promotions. Take this time to catch up on the ones that you haven't caught that are actually not running shows right now. Like NXT UK, my favorite wrestling program of the last year and a half, I would say. It is so entertaining. The characters, the in-ring action, the commentary, it's great. But right now, they don't have any new episodes. They're showing a lot of best stuffs. So this is your moment to really get into it. Go back into the archive. Catch up on all the great angles that have happened. Make sure you see the development and the beginnings of Gallus, where Joe Coffey forged his way to becoming the Iron King of NXT UK. You could see the beginnings of Imperium and Walter. And coming up this week on NXT, they got a great expose, a deep dive, they said, into Imperium you're going to want to see. NXT UK, catch up on it. New Japan Pro Wrestling, no new shows going on. A perfect time to catch up. Watch your Wrestle Kingdoms, okay? Watch your G1 climaxes. Watch your Best of the Super Juniors of any year. Get caught up a little bit. Do a little bit of reading. There's so much great literature about New Japan Pro Wrestling. Please, just take the opportunity. Seize the moment. Get caught up. Get into it, because there's plenty to do as a wrestling fan, even if you're quarantined at your fucking home. We'll get through this together for sure, but in the meantime, there is always work to do as a wrestling fan, especially as a Brainiac. All right, Brainiacs, that does it for another edition of Brainbuster Radio. We'll be back after Monday Night Raw to give you our recap of that and dive into next week. Money in the Bank week, Vinman.
Yeah, it's an exciting time of year. After this, after next Sunday, there could be a title match at any time. You got to be prepared for it.
There could be a title match next Sunday.
There could be.
I mean, who knows? Or could there not be? Because we don't know word yet. Where's the WWE title match taking place? Is that in Florida while the Money in the Bank is in Stamford? That would mean that we're not going to have a same night cash-in. Something to ask Triple J on the next episode for sure, right, Vinman?
I'm sure he's paying very close attention to the order of these matches, ways of transportation. Yeah, that he's always thinking, as if he's the champion, trying to stay one step ahead.
I want to say shout out to MVP, Brendan Vink, and Shane Thorne, friends of the show, a.k.a. the future Big Miami. I can't wait to see them on Monday Night Raw. Mil Calzones, what do you got lined up? What are you looking forward to this week in pro wrestling?
I need to see more of the hacker. Who is the goddamn hacker?
Mr. Roboto. Is it actually going to be Freddie Mercury himself? What's his name? Rami Malek? Do you think it could be Rami Malek?
Bond got pushed back till next year. He ain't doing shit.
We will see. I'm hoping it's Dave Meltzer still, Brainiacs. All right, for Mil Calzones on the ones and twos, Vinman, Moose the Mark on the internet gimmicks, crying at home, a man called Wired, showing a baby called Wired, all the terrible things Bailey has done in her life, Jumpin' Jacob J, and Long Island Iced Tea. I'm Long Island Iced Tea saying, I gotta get the hell out of here and watch some Triple A Lucha Fighter Pro-Graps.